How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I just got a bit more of a chilled messing video again. It's the second half of this super cool as Ford Loaf-tastic expert has Bruce Dolphin truck. Copyrighted, of course. Pretty catchy name. Don't want McDonald's trying to steal it or anything. Saying that though, got my eye on a I'm loafing it t-shirt, and Nike coming for you as well. Just loaf it. I'll have that one. If they try and McDonald's tries to take me to court, I'll just send a little loaf in with a little sad face and say,
"Don't let me out. I'm only little."
You see, golden arches. The joke is multi-layered, like a Big Mac. In fact, if anything, they owe me now because I'm advertising Big Macs. Anyway, I've been trying to sort shirts out all night to get the website linked so they appear under my videos, and it's just having none of it. I don't know, it won't log on. It's driving me mental. Spent a few hours doing it, didn't really get very far with it, so I'll have to try a different computer. I'm just not very good with laptops. I don't like laptops. I don't know what it is, but they just don't work for me. I remember the last time I owned a laptop, me and my brother owned one, and I got up one morning and he stabbed it with a screwdriver. And I asked why, and he said because it wouldn't log on to the internet, you see. Goddamn laptops. That seemed like a perfectly reasonable response to me, all things considered. Anyway, back to the video. Things are going pretty well. One reason I do like the good old Dolphin, it's got some pretty good pulling power when you are towing quite a lot of stuff. I admit I've not towed this much stuff before. Took a bit of damage there though. They need to calm down with this damage mechanic. I've got a feeling, and I don't know, but as I've said in a previous video, and I kind of feel like it's true, this game felt more polished at the start, and there's kind of a few things that are, I would say, are worse now, like the crane weakness and the winch and the damage. And it's like, I'm not sure if it's bugs or if they're trying to kind of artificially lengthen the time it takes to complete their game by making things a bit more awkward or whatever. But either way, I don't think it's a good decision. Like, it's not, I'm not saying it's a terrible game now, I'm still got all sorts to get up to, but I just think taking those little things away, like the power of the crane and the winches and stuff, just makes, yeah, those kind of random, unplanned rescues, like, it's not really worth it as much anymore, because the worst thing is if you spend half an hour trying to rescue something and then you realise you just can't do it because the power of the crane or the winch is just not there anymore. It's a bit of a shame. I mean, you can still get by in games, there's still plenty you can do. It's just, yeah, it's not quite what it used to be, and personally I don't think that was a good idea. I think it was more fun once you've done the game. There's a lot more options for messing around. Somebody did say in the comments yesterday on kind of, I suppose, part one of this video that I'd be pretty interested to know as well, is I wonder how this thing does at getting through like a gateway to another map. It'd be interesting to see, really. I'll have to give it a go pretty soon. So the Ford fell off. I was bringing the Vor on. You see that eye? See how it drives through it and then it locks me? That was accelerating the whole time, and just for like a second then it sort of let go, but it absolutely locked my tyres in place. You heard my revs. It must actually lock the tyres because all your revs die down. It's almost like you have just let go of the accelerator, but I didn't. And then look with the damage. I mean, that hit there, that's the one where, if anything, I'd say, yeah, that should have blown a tyre or ripped half the chassis off, and it did 2 damage to the fuel tank. And yet little things like this, where you hit an ice cube and it just deletes the truck, which again, it isn't really, I'd say I'm used to this game enough to where it's not even really a problem. I'll just bring a repair trailer or whatever, but I don't know, it just kind of makes, I don't know really how to explain it, but it's just like the repair trailer is just something you'd bring along then, because it's just one of those mechanics of the game. See there as well, the crane keeps extending itself sometimes when I'm trying to put that back on, but we got there in the end. We're ready to go again. Like I say, I'm heading towards the cliffs, so I'm going to give it a go at driving across there. Like, as I said yesterday, I'm not going to do the whole vehicle in one, and it's only because if like the vehicle you're towing would actually follow your tracks more, it'd be better. Like, it'd be nice if there was a bit more control over the vehicle behind you. Like, say for example, when I'm driving with this, say this was laying down like an invisible path, it'd be pretty cool if the vehicle you were towing was kind of following that invisible path rather than... Because basically, when I get to that cliff point, there is like a turning in the middle of it. And if I turn the dolphin around it, the Bruce will just turn as well, really. And it'll just hit the inside of the cliff, it'll snag. And it'll probably end up making me crash the whole thing. So, since I had a sort of one chance, not one chance, but it took a little while to build this thing. Like I say, I'm going to try some other things though, as well. I want to try and make a longer road train, the longest road train I can. So anyway, while it's going, I'll obviously, a bit of gameplay in, skip to about, it's going to be sort of about 15 minutes by the time I'm going over the cliff. What else have I been up to? I'll tell you how I ended up. I've got 2 metal plates in my cheek. It's basically, when I was 14, I moved up north and that, and went to some school. Some, like, the biggest dude in the school, he was, I think he was a year or two above me, but he was just massive. He was like already like a fully grown adult rugby player size, and everyone else was obviously still pretty little. So he was just a dickhead to everyone. And someone told him I was going to try and beat him up. I was like half his size. But yeah, got into an argument, and then he punched me, and then broke my cheek in 4 places. I have to say, I did take it like a professional. I didn't go down. I broke a window with my head. Only a greenhouse window, not double glazed. And yeah, like, broke my cheek in 4 places, so then I had to go hospital. And I have to say, like I've said before, I really don't like hospitals, but I had a pretty good time at that hospital. I think it was Hull Royal Infirmary or something, and yeah, it's pretty good. I was in the kiddies ward though, which I wasn't too keen on, but I did have like these 2 nurses, genuinely, not even to be crude or anything, but they were ridiculously good looking nurses. It looked like they just came back from tie-in at the World Nurse Universe Uninurse competition. And yeah, it was funny as well, because I had this kid next to me. He's probably about a year younger than me. I was 14 at the time, yeah. This kid next to me, he had this old woman looking after him, and honestly, he gave me a look after this old woman left. I've only ever seen this look once. It can only be described as, why have you got 2 nurses that look like they just stepped off a high-end porno, and I've got this old bag? And it's like, I know, low trained before it was even existed in its current form. But yeah, I was I don't know, I was in hospital for a couple of days. They had to put this bloody, you see, because I was in the kids ward, it's like, just, I don't know, like, I had to have some cannula thing in my arm, or my hand or whatever, and she had to put this, they called it magic cream. I had to put some magic cream on my hand, and it's like, fucking hell man, I'm 15, not 5. I mean, to be fair, I was 15 and she was incredibly attractive, so what I actually probably said was like, this is the best magic cream in the world. But what I actually meant was like, what the fuck? I've got 4 pubes. I'm basically a man. Like, I should be in the adult ward, not some, like, locked behind a pin-coded door with a snake drawn on it. But, yeah. And then I nearly went for an operation that night. I mean, to be fair, it was the first time I ever heard the word rubbing the hand and magic cream in the same sentence where I wasn't having a wank, but you learn new things every day. So yeah, they put all this magic cream on my hands for some bloody reason. I was supposed to go in for an operation, and then some guy had crashed a motorbike, took my spot, which is fair enough. And then yeah, eventually went in for an operation. Like I say, they basically, imagine like your cheekbone, it just, the doctor said you could have got hit 1,000 times and it wouldn't go. It just happened to be on the perfect sweet spot, and it popped in a bit like a sort of hexagon out of a football. Just popped in, broke in 4 places. It trapped a nerve as well, so not only when he hit me, I genuinely didn't even realise I'd been hit. All I knew is he was looking at me, he went to grab me, I smacked his arm out the way, and then I was looking to my left, and that was it. I was like, did he just hit me, or what the hell's going on? People were looking at me a bit funny, so I think they realised that my cheek was probably broken or something. But yeah, because it trapped a nerve, I didn't feel subtle, so well yeah, had this operation. Took about 8 hours in the operating room. I had 28 stitches, and then yeah, I actually, funnily enough, I woke up in the, I don't know if it was like pre-operation, mid-operation, or right near the end, but I remember actually waking, like you see on the films as well, like I opened my eyes and I could see lights on the roof, and then I looked around and I seen like a bunch of 4 odd doctors and surgeons and that all huddled round. I don't know, but I assume they're like looking at a clipboard or something, or who knows, probably naked pictures of me, like I was drugged for hours. So Who knows what could have happened? I might be on Jeffrey Epstein's wall for all I know. Yeah, and then the nurse got one of them kind of spotted that I was moving around, and she put a gas mask thing back on my head. And I was like, I tried to fight it, but I was gone. I was gone again. And yeah, that's how I got. That's why I've got like two metal plates in my cheek. And funnily enough, this is genuinely true as well. Like, I don't think it's that graphic, but if you're not into that sort of stuff, you might want to skip this bit. But they said to me, like, I've got these two plates in my cheek, and my cheek isn't like 100%, it's just kind of being held together by these metal plates. But they said if you want, we can properly rebuild your cheek. But what we're going to have to do is cut you from ear to ear over the top of your head. And I quote, and this is a few sentences I will never forget, then we'll peel your face off down to the bottom of my nose, and then they'll re-break my cheek, take some bone from either my hip or the back of my head. I mean, I don't know what it's like. Why are you harvesting the back of my head? My head's been through enough. Like, if anything, it survived Kidapult at the back from when me and Dave and Ad were playing Kidapult. So, yeah, it's like, leave the back of my head alone. Side of my head, I'll tell you another time, but my sister dropped some pickaxe type thing on my head. So, as far as I'm concerned, head bone is like, no, leave the head bone alone. I mean, yeah, I've still got one other cheek that way. In fact, fuck, I've got two arse cheeks. Should have stuck one of them on there. Would have been perfect. Anyone says I'm getting cheeky, so what do you expect? Got half an arse stitched to my face. But anyway, yeah, they said they were gonna like take some some head bone or some hip bone, crush it into a paste, basically rebuild my cheek, and then, and I quote, staple your face back on, and then you'll have a scar over the top of your head. And I was like, yeah, it's not really the scar over the top of my head I'm worrying about, mate. It's kind of the bit where you said peel my face off and then staple it back on that I'm not too keen on. So I took my chances, stuck with the metal plates. I mean, look at this loaf, don't fuck around. Now you get your ass on that tow bar, bitch. You got shit to do. I mean, yeah, so that's how I broke my cheek after I come out of the operation. I just spent 3 days in hospital after that, getting drugged up literally by the hour. Like, every hour on the hour, they used to turn up and then inject me with morphine and these other things. I don't even know what they were. I was absolutely off my head for 3 days. Like, I had a TV that was on a swivelly thing, so I could watch that everywhere. That had porn on, basically, at night. Genuinely, in a kid's hospital, well, like, kids section of the hospital. And it had, like, what was it called, like, Euro trash, all that sort of, like, there was stuff that was more, say, adult than that. But yeah, I was like, this is fucking great. Spending 3 days getting completely drugged up out my face by two of the best looking nurses I've ever seen. And yeah, I mean, how to put it delicately, I would have been able to cut through a vault door for about 3 days solid, let's just put it that way. Every time that nurse pulled the curtain back, looked like I was fucking camping. Like I'd set a wigwam up or something. Like, how do you do? Most native Indians are called, like, whispering knee or chatting foot. I'll be like, hi, I'm talking bollocks, nice to meet you. So yeah, that's what I spent a few days doing that. And then attempted to go toilet on my own one. She said, if you need help going toilet, let me know. It's like, yeah, what am I going to do? I'm 15 and you're incredibly hot. Am I going to say, yeah, can you just hold my dick that's pointing the wrong fucking way? Like, when I attempted to go toilet, I was off my head on morphine. I got there, I seen about 20 toilets from left to right. So, I know this is bad, but I was off my head. I started pissing left and right because I was like, when I hear the sound of porcelain, I know I'm getting warm. Either that or I'm pissing on my feet. Either way, I'm getting warmer. And yeah, that's kind of like one of the last things I remember. I passed out, fell asleep. To be fair, the chances of me hitting the toilet, I would have had to have done a fucking handstand for any chances of that happening. And eventually, crawled out of there after like 3 hours because I fell asleep on the toilet and I was off my head. And then, yeah, she found me as I was going out the bloody toilet. Took me back to my bed and gave me some more bloody morphine and everything, so I was off me rocker again. And my mum bought me some chocolates that I couldn't eat because my jaw was like, I don't know, it's all swollen from the operation, so I couldn't hardly open my mouth, so I had to like lick this chocolate. It took me about 4 hours per square of chocolate, but I got there, I didn't give up. So yeah, that was how I got a broken cheek. One of them things, like I say, I've still got a spare cheek. I was born with 2, now I've got 1.5. So we're finally here at the cliff. As you can see, the trailer a minute ago, by the way, flicked that purple loaf off. By the way, got another loaf. Got a purple loaf now. So going around here, the good thing is I had the ice tyres on, or the chained or whatever, so kind of figured by now, best course of action would probably just be to floor it, fingers crossed, hope for the best. So rebased, back loaf's looking a bit sketchy, but you see that ramp trailer actually holds it on pretty bloody well. The old Scout fuel trailer started to go again. I sod it, floor it, fingers crossed, because I know I've got to try and get that trailer over that little kind of cutout, but the best thing to do is just not look until you're over there, because if you look, you might panic. Just, yeah, pretend like it's not happening. I mean, if the computer doesn't have to display the pixels, then nobody even knows it's happening, do they? You just look back and everything's fine. So, made it over the cliff with the Dolphin and the 3 loafs. And a Scout fuel trailer. Dolphin approved. It's around here where I started getting my trailer stuck, like glitching into the trees the other day. I drove a bit further ahead because I'm about to attempt taking Bruce and Taz and the Ford F750 over. And here she is. As you can see as well while I was talking, like, for some reason when I drove up here, out of nowhere, 2 or 3 loafs fell off the trailer. The F750 completely fell off. I don't even know how it got off the ramped flatbed thing, but it did. But yeah, this is why I'm taking them in 2 hard. I still think that's a pretty long truck section, road train, off-road train as someone was saying. Yeah, one thing I do like about Bruce is he's got pretty damn good steering because of that rear steer. See, again, the derry would be nice over here for that, if it just wasn't such a gutless bastard trying to get all the way here. And again, floor it, fingers crossed. Bruce, because he's got 10 wheels, got loads of grip, and I've got the chain tyres on. But you can see the back, the repair thingy-majig, that started to tip off. I also, you see, if I just didn't look behind me, I would have steered around that corner. But because I wasn't looking, caught Bruce's chin on that rock, and now I had to reverse up. It was not helping the situation. But, oh no! Hold on, Taz. It's about to get serious. The F750, it couldn't handle it, it's gone. Credit to Bruce. He stayed in there for now. It's not looking good. Just hitting the accelerator like, don't you dare fuck around and not get in gear. Now is not the time, Bruce. I think I winched to Taz. Oh no, I do now. Tried to save Taz. It was all going wrong. Bruce is hanging on in there, but it's not looking good at this point. Sorry, Taz. Every man and Bruce for himself. I was almost going like, goddamn winch. Winch to something. Release the trailer. I said shit was getting serious. I mean, I didn't mind dropping the F750 over, but at this point I was genuinely like trying to rescue Bruce. Like, don't let them all go. Took a bit of winching. I don't know what the hell I'm winched to. That tree, I think. Thank God it's oh, it does move as well. That tree was staying in there pretty goddamn well. For a Bruce hanging off it, that had a trailer on it and everything at one point. Tried to turn, but can we make it? Yes. Of course Bruce made it. See that good turn in there. Otherwise I would have to reverse again, have another go. So one of the things that was a bit disappointing now though, is I can't stick this crate out to the side and grab these from down here. I'll show you in a sec. I mean, the F750, it was laying on its side, but it was enough to where I could winch it. And I'm just leaving this bit in to show you again. This is where, like, I tap triangle on and off, like hoovering the winch in, and it seems to, like, spring you over more than just holding the winch down, which it never used to do that. It used to be, like, the amount of tension you could build on a winch back in the day was great, because yeah, it just felt like you could actually lift and move most things. Fortunately though, the trailer was still kind of tipping up, so the top of the trailer was pretty close to the top of the cliff. So I rescued the trailer quickly. So at least one thing that I got back for now. But as you can see now, I was trying all over. I tried 10 or 15 times, going all around the edges of the cliff, trying to reach my crane out, get a winch point or a crane point or whatever on Taz or anything. It just was having none of it, even to the point where my crane was officially over the front of that. I managed to winch the loaf up there the other week with the Antarctic, so I'm not sure, maybe it's just off, like it's just a little bit too high. I suppose the winch should sit a bit lower, but in the end I give up on that idea, attached the trailer. So yeah, Bruce and the trailer made it across. We lost a Taz, lost an F750 and a repair thing. However, I did manage to get the F750 flipped back to its wheels. I also managed to winch this Taz back to its wheels. It did take a bit longer than that, but not too much longer, and as you can see, I was able to drive both of them back up. I probably could have rescued the repair trailer, but it was stuck behind a load of trees, and I just, at this point, I couldn't be arsed. I was just, yeah, like, again, the winches are just a bit gutless, and it was just got to the point where it's like, ah, sod it, I'll just leave it. To be honest, now I can kind of just keep duplicating bumpers on Taz. Money is less of a concern than it used to be, so if you thought I was bad at leaving trailers scattered everywhere before, you ain't seen nothing yet. For whatever reason, the F750 was just being a dick to get back on the trailer, so I gave up with that. I was going to take this trailer back, see, I was trying. One last quick go, seeing if I could crane this trailer back up here, but again, it's just not giving me the option. I do wish as well, you know, when you move the crane and you get like a cargo option, I wish you could move the cargo attachment point along like the same as a winch point, because trying to hover above like the particular cargo you want when something else is nearby can be a bit of a pain in the ass. That's another thing, is when you attach the winch. The first time I attached the winch, it says winch attached, but then there's no winch. But I attached to the nearest side of the trailer. Unfortunately, it did actually get on it that time, so I thought, right, I'll drive around here. I didn't really plan on that trailer flying down there, if I'm honest, but I thought, well, let's move the winch point pretty close, so not a bad result. And again, I wouldn't attempt this with most trucks, but Bruce has definitely got the wheels and grip for it. Right, sod it. Go for it. What could possibly go wrong? Stuck it in high. Things were kind of going like, eventually I'd run out of cliff and it would drag it all back up, but I hit that tree because I wasn't looking. And you see now, I specifically put it in reverse, and that was fully my fuck up, but I forgot I just put it in reverse and I floored it and went backwards. I did that the other day in a video. Like I said, this is why I like to stay in auto if I can. But yeah, not good. Bruce is about ready to go again. Just managed to stick a winch on this tree just in time. Basically, I had the winch still attached to the tree. One thing I will say that has improved, because I used to try this where you'd like already have a winch attached and then try and attach a winch to something else and it wouldn't let you do it. That time, I was basically hanging off the cliff with my winch on one of those trees, and I was still able to select a winch point further away that just automatically like jumped over to it, which was able to help me get up here. I've still, I believe, got the trailer attached behind me. Yeah, I have. But went too far back. She went. Bruce is down. I mean, it's pretty convenient. I kind of landed on the trailer. Kind of self-loaded myself. That's what she said. And also knocked the repair trailer back on its wheels. So that was a fuck up. That's the first truck that I think I've drove that's fell off, like by accident anyway. I've drove like the P16 off there, a few different things. I mean, look at this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but its back end looked like it's took one hell of a beating. And then I believe there's a little glitch now as well, which I can't help. But honestly, look at it. I was looking now like, what the hell? It's like repaired itself. Like, performed its own ass cheek surgery. It's probably got titanium plates in there as well now. What a goddamn horse of a vehicle. So yeah. And now he's not drowning, he's off looking for them tea bags that you fuckers threw into the harbour. So I can smell them around here somewhere. You can taste that tea. So yeah, back to this. Back to Dolphin and the Loafs. Sound like a pretty good band name if you ask me. At this point, I'll be honest, I didn't really know where I was going. I was just driving a little bit further, seeing how much rallying the Loafs could take. So that purple Loaf, he's kind of fell forward, but his wheels are basically either side of the trailer hitch. So, well, at least until then it was doing alright, but he's gone and flown off to the side. It's one Loaf down. But yeah, it was actually holding it in place probably better than just sitting on the trailer. Again, this is, I would say it's a bad thing, but it's not like a bad thing, it's just a lack of a good thing. But I wish you could load vehicles onto trailers and actually pack them like cargo so they kind of strap down. Because, as you can see, as soon as you start going over bumps, especially that this trailer really isn't that wide, like even the Loafs are not that far, like, from either edge of the trailer. So yeah, OG Loaf fell. The yellow Loaf, see that ramped flatbed thing, like the actual ramps, because it's got like a Scout fuel trailer wedged between it, that yellow Loaf is absolutely hooked on. Trying to ram it past the tree. God damn it, he will make it, Loaf. So again, that's what I do like about Dolphin. It's got some good pulling power. It's probably not the best in the game, but I bet it's up there. It's the Colob, they've definitely got some pretty decent pulling power. But yeah, slowly managed to smash my way through down to about here. Got caught at this point. I don't know what the Loaf is caught on, but I thought let's go and check the situation out. I mean, this is why you get yourself a Loaf. I mean, look at him. I want to get back on the trailer. It's like, huh, big fat sit up. He's already round. I mean, what a goddamn professional. That's the kind of vehicle I need when I'm busy hauling trucks and scouts and things over the map. So yeah, got back on the trailer, pretty happy with, and then I stuck a winch on the Dolphin, so I was kind of mind control driving him. See? Again, that's why you get yourself a Loaf. And we're back. That Loaf, he was back on his wheels. Switched to this Loaf. Looks like we've got ourselves a white Loaf. I mean, got the autonomous Scout. Grab the tree and we're off. I mean, I thought at this point, I was like, oh, it's a white Loaf. Landed down, I was like, what the hell? It's a goddamn purple Loaf. See? And police start radioing in. Seen a white Loaf. Heading south. I know you haven't. And he's off. So I'm going to go back over the cliff, and to be honest, I genuinely did plan on just flying the Loaf off the cliff. I was recovering everything by now. This was like one of the last things to recover, so as I got here, I flew across here, but yeah, I planned on flying off. I mean, again, that's why you get yourself a Loaf. See? Inspecting the situation. He's seen the trailer. He knows what's going on. Climbs off a house, and we're off. We're a goddamn professional. Landed on his wheels every time. It's Loaf trained. Newest member of the Loaf family. I think I've got 7 or 8 now. We'll keep going. I've still not got enough. And then just last quick one that I was testing something earlier, so I just thought I'd leave it in the video if you've actually managed to make it this far. Stuck a Loaf on this ramp trailer. I was going from Zimnegorsk to Quarry, which you've seen me do sometimes in the reviews. And when you get to Quarry, normally the Loaf would now either be invisible, or like transparent, sorry, not invisible, where it kind of just falls through the trailer. Or I have had it before where the Loaf didn't look invisible, but it still fell through the trailer. However, they appear to have fixed that, which is nice. It's good to know. I set off, and the Loaf's coming with me. So that's it for today anyway. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.